Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything City, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of City stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Welcome to another History Boys feature, and we look back at, we're going back to 1995 today, 1995, the 4th of October 1995, for a Coca-Cola Cup second round, second leg. Yes, this is way before it was called the old Carabao Cup. It's our cup, isn't it, the Carabao Cup, but it's no one else's as I'm recording this. Yeah, we played a team called Wycombe Wanderers, of course, who have become well known, fairly new to the league, I suppose, in football history at that stage, back in 1995. What a time it was to be a City fan, of course. We had World Cup winner, didn't we? We had World Cup winner Alan Ball in charge, and his boss, our saviour, Francis Lee, was overseeing our wonderful club, and the future looked bright. Okay, we did dream a bit at the time, but we even sang about having Alan Ball, didn't we? But hey, we can dream. We were all hopeful, but obviously by this stage, 4th of October 1995, it wasn't quite going to plan or as we'd hoped, obviously, as City fans. I mean, in the press, back to reality, in the press was Manchester City were being called, had a new nickname. It wasn't Manchester City, it was City of the Dead. And Chairman Francis Lee was defending the club and attempting to appease the fans. Yeah, I mean, not only problems on the pitch, but a new Kipax was being built, and it supposedly should have opened pre this season, but obviously it had been delays, and there was all sorts of comments about all the money had run out and there's no money to finish and pay the workers, etc., etc. So obviously he was standing up to that criticism. We do know it eventually got finished, didn't it? So there was money somewhere, but it was a bit of a struggle. So off the pitch it was a struggle, and on the pitch it was a struggle. With the arrival of Wycombe, at least it was a bit of a welcome break from the FA Carling Premiership at the time. For us and Alan Ball, I suppose. Mr. Ball had masterminded a superb 1 point from 8 games, one point only, and we sat bottom, literally 20 points already behind the league leaders, who happened to be that rabble across the road. So it wasn't great, was it? I mean, 2 weeks previously we travelled to Wycombe. Took a lot of fans there, second division Wycombe. So 3 divisions below us, obviously in the third tier of English football. We would join them, wouldn't we, a couple of years later? But hey, we didn't know that at the time, but perhaps more on that later. Their biggest crowd of the season, almost 7,500 at Wycombe that night. And they gained a creditable draw, yes, a 0-0 thriller it wasn't, that's for sure. And we were sort of lucky to escape with 0-0 on. Some people say we're lucky to get 0 at the end of the day. Alan Ball's programme notes quite funny for this Wycombe game. This one here, this programme here for the home leg against Wycombe. He continued to try and treat us fans pretty much as idiots, which he tended to do from time to time. His opening paragraph and his article in that programme read, "We have a break from leave action tonight and take the first step on a trip which eventually could end at Wembley." There you go. So we did laugh, didn't we? We did laugh at that positivity at the time. Not a cat in hell's chance any of us thought of us getting to Wembley at any stage. Obviously, that season. He did continue later in his article. We have given ourselves a very good chance. We were 0-0. It wasn't too bad. We had a home game to come after what I can only describe as a gritty performance, he said, in the first leg at Wycombe. I think he misspelt gritty, actually. I think he should have swapped the GR for an SH, I think, and it would have been far closer to that game at Wycombe. I mean, this was a gritty performance that he was obviously seemingly proud of, where literally Paul Hinch reported, the Evening News journalist at the time, that the team were locked in the dressing room after the game, and the wallpaper was peeling off the walls with the actual tirade that was going on in that dressing room, and the players were thankful to actually eventually escape to the coach back to Manchester. But a very heated away dressing room after that game. But it was a gritty performance, so obviously perhaps it was words of encouragement, but I don't think so. A gritty performance, of course, the City fans had witnessed, of course. Lots down there on the night, singing ETIHAD, we've had a shot, as a Somerset P-roller rolled past the post after 84 minutes. So that just about sums up. Yes, things were that bad on the pitch and not so great off it either. So surely after 9 games without a win, the second leg will at least give us, the fans and City, a much-needed win. I mean, our next game was, excuse me, a simple matter of visit to Old Trafford, so we needed to get something from this game. But only 11,474 of us were there to witness it at Maine Road that night. But yes, City did fortunately thrash in a way. Well, beat, let's say, not thrash. We know what a thrashing is these days. But we beat a lowly Wycombe, of course, 4-0 in this second leg to set us on our way, didn't it? To set us on our way on this mythical Allen Ball road to Wembley. The team that day, not much different to the team in the first leg that had performed so inadequately, to be honest with you. Immel in goal, Brightwell, Curl, Simmons, Edgill, Lomas, Flitcroft, Kinkett and Beagrit with Quinn and Rossler up front. I mean, not a bad team on paper, of course. I mean, this is the Premier League, but we should have a good team. The subs that day was Summerby Brown, or that night, the Summerby Brown and Margetson were the subs. Interesting game for Margetson. We'll talk about that in a little while. We're going to turn to Paul Hince, back to Paul Hince again for the match report. Obviously, the heading turning point. City tonic just in time for a big United date. So let's just carry and see what Paul Hince had to say about the evening's goings on. All right, so it's only little Wycombe Wanderers, but when we were starving and desperate for a winner's City, you just can't afford to be choosy. And in months to come, the Blues might well look back on last night's also welcome Coca-Cola second round victory as the turning point of the entire season. No, Paul. The cynics are bound to say the Maine Road men have proved nothing but brushing aside a team from the middle of the Ensley League Second Division. But for the Premiership big guns, these David and Goliath confrontations are minefields waiting to explode. Ask Everton, ask Forest, even better, ask Manchester United. All right, so we must have been in good company if we got beat, but we didn't. It speaks volumes for City's professionalism that once they had survived a nervy start, there was never even a remote possibility of them becoming another embarrassing statistic in this season's list of cup upsets. Even more important, perhaps last night's victory, as predictable as it may have been, should have convinced Allen Ball's players that they are far, far better than their disastrous start to the season would indicate. The boost for the Blues' confidence couldn't have come at a better time, with the next date in their Premiership diary just happening to be a trip across town for a battle with the old enemy. The watching Reds manager, Alex Ferguson, could have been forgiven for thinking the next week's derby was a foregone conclusion as City began last night's match with a giant hangover from 7 successive defeats, and what was left of their confidence could have disappeared completely if a cross shot from Wycombe striker Miguel de Souza had crept in at the far post instead of rebounding into Ike Immel's arms off the upright. But success and failure can sometimes be measured in inches, because from that moment the result was never in doubt as the Blues suddenly remembered which side had the Premiership pedigree. It was as though some unseen hand had suddenly thrown a switch, with little Georgie King-Clancy finally announcing his arrival on the English stage with a glorious passing display. Beagrie teased and tormented the life out of his distraught marker, and Uwe Rosler showed exactly why so many Premiership managers would love to have him in their side. Inevitably, it was Maine Road's German bomber who struck the first blow midway through the first half with a simple tapping at the far post following a surging run and cross from a non-stop Stevie Lomas. But if that was a run-of-the-mill goal, Rossler's second strike 2 minutes later was made in heaven. The defence-splitting pass from Little Kinky had a world-class stamped all through it. Rossler's finishing was in the same bracket as he rifled home a first-time effort from 12 yards. It was nothing. It was nestling in the bottom corner when Peter Paul Hyde knew what was happening. Before Peter Paul Hyde knew what was happening. City's third goal on the hour was another sight for sore eyes, with poacher Rossler turning provider with a magnificent running cross from the right, which was dispatched with clinical efficiency by Quinn. It was a goal which the Town Irishman thoroughly deserved for a performance which would have earned him the man of the match nomination in most games. 3 minutes after Quinn's unstoppable blast, the Blues were 4 up after the jinking Kinky had been dragged down in desperation by Steve Brown a good 2 yards inside the Wycombe penalty area. It was a bit mean, perhaps, of skipper Keith Curl to pull rank and insist on taking the spot kick when Rossler was on a hat-trick, but Curley obviously wanted to see his name on the score sheet this season as he stepped up to beat Hyde with his usual arrogant ease. It was the end of the scoring, but not the fun with Manager Ball sending on his substitute goalkeeper Martin Margetson as a striker for the last 5 minutes, a la Schmeichel, to the enormous enjoyment of the Maine Road faithful. Well, who were there anyway. It was a few minutes young Margetson won't forget in a hurry, and hopefully it will be a match which the entire City team will keep fresh in their minds and call up before they go into action against the Reds a week on Saturday. Well, perhaps Martin Margetson did a little bit better as a centre forward than he ever did as a keeper, but that's another story, isn't it? So there you go, playing as a keeper, a striker. I've never seen the like at City, but yeah, perhaps these managers have these strange ideas, and perhaps we still want our manager now, but as I'm recording this, to play our keeper as a forward or a midfielder as well, but it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, the player ratings at last were good. This probably for the first time this season, apart from perhaps the first game, a 1-1 draw with Tottenham, made okay reading. Immel got a 7, Brightwell 7, Curl 8, Simmons 8, Edgels 7, Lomas 7, Flitcroft 8, Kincladze 8, Beager 8, Quinn 8, Rossler 9. The subs, Summerby got a 6, Brown a 6, and Margetson got a 6 for his little game. Even the ref, Keith Burge, don't particularly remember him. He got 7. And man of the match went to Uwe Rossler, a barnstorming 2-goal display from City's German hitman. Brightwell and Flitcroft got booked. So there you go. Keeper playing as a striker. What did Bawley think? What did Mr. Alan Ball make of this? What did World Cup winner Bawley make of it? Well, Bawley's verdict in the Manchester Evening News: I am not going to get carried away by one result. Thankfully not. We are still a long way from being finished articles, but at least this is a start and gives us something to build on. Make no mistake about it, this is a very tricky tie, and there are a lot of people waiting for us to fall flat on our faces. We didn't start very brightly from once we enjoyed a spot of luck when the shot rebounded back to our goalkeeper off the post. But the 2 quick goals from Uwe settled everyone down and eased all the anxieties which have been cramping the players in recent matches. There were lots of good individual performances from my lads, like all strikers. Ross has been a bit uptight because the goals haven't been flowing, so getting on the score sheet twice will have done me a power of good. Kinky showed the fans what a terrific technique he's got and what a superb passer of the ball he is, and it's just a shame that there weren't a few more in the ground to see it. A bit of dig at the fans, Val, and yeah, there we go. I also thought Gary Flitcroft was superb, particularly when you consider that this was his first match since he was injured against Newcastle. He was feeling his ankle injury a little bit late on, which is why I brought him off. But it's probably a bit unfair to single out individuals. There's still work to be done, but we look more like a team in the true sense of the word. And if we can use this victory as a platform, then it could prove to be a very important result. Well, there you go. I mean, I'm not too sure about putting your goalkeeper on as a striker against Wycombe Wanderers is sort of a nice thing to do, to be honest with you, taking the mick. And I don't think you need to take a mick of a team in halfway down the second division. But there may have been a reason for it. I can't remember. I can't think back and remember what reason it was. And we probably did enjoy it. But, looking back on reflection, it's not the greatest thing to do, is it? It's not very respectful. It's like us, these days we get told off for putting 8 or 9 goals past teams, don't we? But there you go. Perhaps that's the only thing that sort of stood out to me. Perhaps he had to, but surely we could have played with 10 men if it came to the point, and just or put Margetson in goal and put the other lad up. Put Immel up front just to make it look a bit more sensible, if you like. Well, there you go. Bowley enjoyed that. So there you go. Of course, we would lose at the Swamp. We would lose our next game against United, although we did have the ability, if Quinn had been a bit on the ball, we might have scraped a draw, but we didn't really deserve to win that one at the Swamp that day, that year either. So our pride was intact with just a 1-0 loss at United. And how about this mythical road to Wembley? Obviously, this was going to be the start of. Well, unfortunately, we drew Liverpool in the next round. We're knocked out 4-0, so that knocked that one on the head. But hey, there you go. We didn't believe in for one moment that we had a road to Wembley that season. Believe me, as fans, we didn't have a Scoobies. Let's be honest about it. As far as Wycombe, yeah, they had a quiet season for them. They'd had a few glories of the seasons before, but they finished just mid-table. But of course, they would get revenge on us just 3 seasons later when we joined them. Joined them in the 3rd tier of English football, didn't we? And they would actually beat us both home and away, although it didn't turn out too bad, the 98-99 season. But at least Wycombe managed to get a little bit of revenge over us, which is another history thing in itself, isn't it? Thanks for joining me for this look back at City versus Wycombe on the 4th of October 1995 for the Coca-Cola Cup second leg. A 4-0 win. A rare City highlight, let's be honest about it, in a pretty awful season for us, for City and us, the fans, of course. Thanks for watching. Whatever you're going to do rest day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other till we meet here again on the Citizen channel. Or perhaps you'll have a look at my film and TV channel and have a little break from football. I try and inform and entertain on there as well. I only ever ask one thing if you don't till we meet again. Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.